The LGM-30F Minuteman II was a second-generation intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, developed and deployed by the United States Air Force as part of its strategic nuclear deterrent. It was an improvement over the original Minuteman I, incorporating advanced technology to enhance its reliability, accuracy, and survivability in a potential nuclear conflict. The Minuteman II program was a pivotal step in the evolution of America's ICBM capabilities, serving as a critical component of the U.S. nuclear triad during the Cold War. The Minuteman ICBM program began in the late 1950s, as the U.S. sought a more survivable and cost-feasible deterrent against the Soviet Union. The first-generation Minuteman I, LGM-30A/B, proved the feasibility of solid-fuel ICBMs, which were significantly more reliable and faster to launch than their liquid-fueled predecessors. However, as the Soviet Union developed more advanced missile systems and countermeasures, the need for an improved version became apparent. The Minuteman II LGM-30F program was officially initiated in 1962, with its first successful test launch occurring in 1964. The missile entered operational service in 1966 and remained in deployment until the early 1990s. It represented a significant technological leap over its predecessor, featuring better guidance systems, increased range, and improved countermeasures against anti-ballistic missile (ABM) defenses. The LGM-30F Minuteman II was a three-stage solid-fuel missile with an approximate length of 18.2 meters, 59.7 feet, and a diameter of 1.85 meters, 6.1 feet. It weighed around 3.447 kilograms, 76000 pounds at launch and had an operational range of approximately 1,300 kilometers, making it capable of striking deep into Soviet territory. The missile featured three solid-fuel rocket stages, each providing the necessary thrust to propel it to intercontinental ranges. The first stage, developed by Thiokol, used a more advanced and efficient propellant than the Minuteman I, allowing for greater thrust and a faster burn time. The second and third stages, built by Aerojet Juniper and Hercules respectively, also incorporated improved materials and designs to enhance performance. One of the most significant upgrades in the Minuteman II was its guidance system. Unlike the Minuteman I, which relied on an earlier form of inertial guidance, the Minuteman II featured a more advanced Autonetics D-17B inertial guidance system. This system used a stable platform and digital computer, making the missile far more accurate. The improved accuracy allowed for a reduction in circular error, probable CEP, which increased its effectiveness against hardened military targets. The Minuteman II was equipped with a single W-56 thermonuclear warhead, which had a yield of 1.2 megatons of TNT. This warhead was considerably more powerful than the one used in the Minuteman I, ensuring that even the most hardened Soviet targets could be destroyed. Additionally, the missile carried penetration aids, BN aids, which helped it evade enemy ABM systems by deploying decoys and radar-reflecting chaff to confuse interceptors. Minuteman II missiles were housed in hardened underground silos designed to withstand a nuclear blast and ensure that the weapons could still be launched in the event of an enemy first strike. The missile used a launch-on-wearing capability, meaning it could be fired quickly upon detecting an incoming Soviet attack, increasing its deterrence value. The missile was also capable of being launched remotely from hardened launch control centers, LCCs, which were located several miles away from the missile fields. Each LCC controlled a group of 10 missiles, with a system designed to ensure that multiple officers were required to authenticate and execute a launch order, preventing unauthorized firings. The Minuteman II was deployed at several strategic locations across the United States, primarily in the central region, including missile fields in North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, and Montana. At its peak, over 1,000 Minuteman missiles, a mix of Minuteman I and I, were deployed as part of the U.S. Strategic Nuclear Force. These missile fields were placed in remote areas to reduce the risk of collateral damage in the event of an enemy attack. The geographic dispersal of the silos also complicated Soviet targeting efforts, requiring them to allocate multiple warheads to ensure destruction of the Minuteman force. Minuteman II played a critical role in deterrence strategy during the Cold War, as the Soviet Union expanded its own ICBM arsenal and deployed increasingly sophisticated warheads. The U.S. needed a more reliable, accurate, and survivable deterrent. The improved guidance system and increased warhead yield of the Minuteman II ensured that the U.S. maintained credible second strike capabilities, meaning that even if the Soviet Union launched a surprise attack, the U.S. could still retaliate with devastating force. Additionally, the Minuteman II provided a counterforce capability, meaning it could be used to target Soviet missile silos and command and control centers, rather than just cities. This shift in nuclear doctrine reflected the growing emphasis on limiting damage in the event of nuclear war, rather than relying solely on mutual assured destruction, MAD. With the advent of the Minuteman III LGM-30G in the early 1970s, the Minuteman II gradually began to be phased out. The newer version featured multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, allowing a single missile to carry multiple warheads aimed at different targets. This significantly increased the effectiveness of the U.S. nuclear deterrent and rendered the single warhead Minuteman II less viable. In accordance with arms control agreements, including the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, START-I, signed in 1991, the U.S. began decommissioning Minuteman II missiles. By the mid-1990s, all Minuteman II missiles were removed from service, and many were destroyed in compliance with treaty obligations. The empty silos were either repurposed for Minuteman III missiles or permanently sealed. The Minuteman II remains a significant chapter in the history of strategic warfare. It was the first U.S. ICBM to incorporate digital computing into its guidance system, paving the way for future advancements in missile technology. The lessons learned from the Minuteman II program influenced subsequent missile designs and reinforced the importance of reliable, quick-launch ICBMs in nuclear deterrence. Even after its retirement, parts of the Minuteman II program have lived on. Some decommissioned missiles were converted into launch vehicles for scientific and commercial payloads, demonstrating the adaptability of solid-fuel missile technology. Additionally, preserved Minuteman II silos and launch facilities serve as museum exhibits, educating future generations about the Cold War and the nuclear arms race.